Everybody. Welcome back to the Sunday Comic Book Hangover Show, Episode 2, the Faces for Radio edition. My name's Hagen of Lettuce Comics, and I am joined today by my wife, Nate, our good friend, Steven, and our other good friend, Doug, the comic collector coach. How are you guys doing?
Doing excellent.
I couldn't be happier if I was twins.
Well, like I was telling you guys
before, good. I got my coffee and my Lego mug.
As do we all.
Like I was telling you guys before, I don't have we don't have a plan. This is just a Sunday morning hangout that Nate and I decided to host because JSS threatened us at knife point. But just wanted to hang out and talk about the upcoming stuff for the week, what we got this past week. If you have any abnormal growths on your body, we can check that out too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You first.
I don't want to get demonetized quite yet.
Oh.
Ew.
Hagen, I don't know if you brought any of this stuff or not. I just know that you went to a really big sale this week at your LCS, and you recently got to liberate your hold pile from your pull list. So did you get to what was the best thing you read last week? I guess that would be my question.
The best thing that I read last week.
Well, that's a great recommendation right there.
Yeah.
No, hold on a second. I've got it right here because I read a couple things. I thought I had it here. I might have put it away. That's odd. It was a comic book called Barnstormers.
Okay.
That's a Dark Horse, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I had those. Oh my God, I'm Alan. My buddy from Dark Horse said you should read these, and he had a whole bunch of variants and stuff. I think it's actually pretty nice, a pretty good good comic book.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I wish that I had it. I wish that I had it out, but it was it started off as a story about the Barnstormers were a group of airplane pilots that would go around performing air shows for
like
handouts.
Lindbergh.
And there's the main character is a con man who ends up accidentally crashing into a wedding and absconds with the wife at her behest. And I thought it was just going to be like a regular old 1920s story. Halfway through, this dude gets a vision of this automaton, this robot with glowing eyes, and it was a flashbang in the middle of the book for me. And I just thought it was really interesting. I'm excited to find the rest of it because I found it in a dollar bin. But yeah, I thought that was really good. What about you, Nate?
Best thing. Well, if I'm picking the best thing I read last week, it's gonna be a tie. Either this old Superman, which was ridiculous Silver Age fun, or I'm reading 2 or 3 stories out of this weird fantasy reprint from EC, and these are just fantastic. So there's one that's a Ray Bradbury adaptation I just read, but I think I hate to spoil because it's these are little, everything's got a twist at the end, but there was this one that just cracked me up because they were trying to figure out a way to repopulate the earth or something, and they had a time machine, but they could only go to one particular place, and everywhere they went they found men. They kept getting men and they could not find any women, and it's we got one shot left with this time machine, and at the end they find out that the one place they've been putting themselves is the men's room at a train station, and that's why no women have come through that they can bring in, which just cracked me up.
Is that a Feldstein story?
I think so. It's one of the first ones. It was. I don't know.
Sounds like a life story, sort of, or something.
Right. But I mean,
do you want to say hi to the chat?
Yeah, we should say hi to the chat because we forgot that. But look at all those words. It takes a while to read even one. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say hi to the chat. I remembered as I was talking, I was like, crap, there are people here watching this, but I was gonna cycle through everybody and then do that. Steven, hi.
Hello.
Nate, hi. And the first actual person, Eric from SideQuest.
Real guy.
And then Deadman Comic Cover Show.
Terry.
With,
oh my God, his icon is a Xena in the bath.
I was gonna say that's a vision from I think one of Steven's dreams last night. Hey Munin, hey man, how you doing? And the man responsible for all of this, JSS Brooklyn. Hey dude. Of the happiest place on. Well, let's not go enjoy the show in your day. Thanks, man. Matt.
Big
hey,
Matt.
Hey, Matt.
This is just me reminding everybody to absolutely annihilate the like button.
Don't leave any shred behind.
Big Nasty, what's up, dude?
Big Nasty.
If anybody's watching this that isn't subscribed to Big Nasty, go ahead and do that. He has, I think, is it 1 or 2 videos out right now? 2
now. And he's going to join us on the Tuesday night hangout on my channel.
Very nice. K Munin, did you check out those Circuit Samurai cars? I did. They are ostentatious, but they're very cool. Hey bud, how you doing?
Hey, he made it.
Cliff, the
Cliff,
the logistician extraordinaire. Cliff coordinates like all of the Sunday morning shows.
He is so low energy. It just gets tiresome. You notice that? No enthusiasm or volume at all.
Yeah, when he's on the show, I feel like I have to staple him to my genitals and drag him around. But, yeah, we put up with it.
A bit severe.
Ken Bird, hey man, or Kenneth.
Hey.
Sorry, I don't know you like that. Who else we got?
Chonko.
Hi, Chonko.
He's got
a
Chonko icon. I like that.
And I think that's most everybody for right now. Doug, what did you read last week, man?
Yeah, so I get a couple of things. 2 things. I finally jumped on the Something is Killing the Children.
Oh,
train.
Excellent.
I grabbed the my LCS had the deluxe edition #1, and I said, why not? If I'm going to start now, might as well start with deluxe. I picked up, this is on my poll, Dick Tracy from Mad Cave. I really like the Dick Tracy story that they brought back. It's really got the the golden age of Dick Tracy feel to the story, and they did pretty good with the art. And then also Redcoat, #9 from Ghost Machine. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm really liking the story.
With go-go checks, no less.
Yeah. But the Redcoat's got a lot of history elements to it, like, real historical figures and people in history. And then, of course, it's a fictional story, but it's pretty interesting. If you haven't checked anything out from Ghost Machine, I would check out Redcoat, Geiger, and Rook Exodus. So they're all 3 pretty entertaining.
Doug, did you, by chance, did you see it when I was showing those Mexican Dick Tracys from the early 1950s?
I don't think so. I think I must have missed that.
Oh man, they
awesome.
are absolutely violent. A guy shooting himself through the eye right on the cover. I mean, there are some really wild ones. Do you have the one where Tracy's head is actually on fire?
I don't have any of the old Dick Tracy, save
they're not
one
spendy
hardcover book. It's huge. The original art.
There we go.
Tracy is very heroic. He really
is. There. Say that one more time.
Tracy is very heroic.
Oh yeah.
I rewatched the Warren Beatty Dick Tracy movie. God, was it last? I think it was last summer. And that is definitely a movie that got made. It was. I mean, it's something.
One of the movies of all time.
I think probably because I was a kid when it came out, but I always enjoyed it as a kid, so it's more nostalgia for me now.
Well, I want to go back and rewatch like all. So there was Billy Zane, the Phantom.
I
Alec
like the
Baldwin,
Phantom. That's a
Shadow.
guilty pleasure. I like it. Catherine
I did too.
Zeta-Jones, Helen Slater, the late Treat Williams. It's good. It is a good show.
That's right. I forgot Treat Williams is the villain in that. That's great. Yeah, I want to rewatch all those because there was this like this big burst of 90s comic book movies. When Batman came out, they just bought up and made everything. And I would like to and when is the Mr. Canoehead movie coming out? And is it going to be R or hard R?
With a name like Canoehead, hard R.
I hope they go full blown like NC-17 with it. Like I hope that it's only shown like in that seedy movie theater at like 1:30 in the morning. I'll be there with a canoe on my head. I guarantee it.
It'll be great.
He really was good. He really was good at it. I liked him in The Substitute, where he's always, he's this namby-pamby guy, then he kicks serious butt.
Yeah. I guess I didn't realize that he had passed. But yeah.
I think it was a motorcycle took him out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think he was on a bike, on a motorcycle, and then that's the whole thing about about motorcycles. I think they're cool. You ride them, but you're just like a meatball on a cocktail stick, and anybody does something wrong, and you're spamming a can. I mean, you're absolutely in the right, and you've lost a leg. It's just that way.
Well, Alec Baldwin in what was it? He at one like it was just they did such a good job in The Shadow of making it like of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like The Rocketeer, they did a good job of emulating the time period. I liked it.
K Munin, why do you hate everything I love?
But speaking of film, so the last week the Fantastic Four trailer came out. Did everybody see it? Yeah. Steven,
just glimpses. I hope that it's good for once that they have a Fantastic Four movie that's worth a damn. I thought they had it with the gal that was in I can't remember her name, but and then they had the guy that was in Horatio Hornblower as Reed Richards, and the thing was,
I can't stand those movies.
They weren't done very well, and their Doctor Doom that they had was some guy from, I don't remember if it was from
he was
like from Angel or something like that, one of the villains, or from Charmed or something. It's one of those guys ended up being Doctor Doom, and he just didn't have the gravitas to pull it off. I think that Downey Jr. certainly has the gravitas to be Doom.
Well, if you guys have like 2 minutes, I just wanted to, do a little trailer reaction here. Just for fun. This is.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't think we can hear it. People have been saying it, but I do think that the CGI looks really, really good.
It looks great. I know the effects aren't completely finished, but come on.
Oh man.
What was that? Some kid's toy in the middle?
The thing's wearing sweatpants.
This isn't the new one, is it?
Oh yeah. This no, Steven. I couldn't even. I couldn't even pretend. That is the Penguin. Like that's straight up the Penguin. This is the Fantastic Four that came out in 1994 that everybody collectively forgot about. We can't hear it.
He walks like he's got a stick somewhere.
Oh, you can't hear it?
Mm-mm.
It's so loud in my ears. I guess I don't know how to share sound.
Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Well, that gives you a pretty good indication right there.
I have seen that. more than once on
Mon Comics, my father, a man of culture.
Hi, Brandon.
man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the actually I will say, like, for the 90s or whatever, the Thing in that movie, like, he has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animatronic quality. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in a few scenes, but his lips never do match the words. It's so bad. It's so bad. And that there's a whole documentary about that movie, how it was purely made to keep the movie rights. Like, it was never intended to be put out. The people in the movie thought they were making a real movie, but the actors thought they were going to be in a real movie. The people making the movie knew it would never come out. It was simply just a business transaction.
Hey,
And,
J and or B.
Hey, yeah,
Good to see you, man.
it could be Jay,
or,
could be Pax,
or
we don't know.
Mans. Man.
So Steven, you said did you bring something to show?
I did indeed.
Well, we could do that.
Would you like to be embiggened, or are we going to stay in our Brady Bunch tiles?
Well, I think when one is embiggened, then there's you can see stuff. I have all of my early Journey into Mysteries and Thors, just a chunk of them that I put out here about, I think about 6 or 7 years ago. A run came into my LCS, and I some guy really took the time to build a beautiful set of the books. And there's one thing about when you sell at a LCS or you sell a whole collection, and then you pay a lot of money to get each book. And then at the end, if you sell them all together, then you discount selling all of your books. I've never understood that. It's hard enough to put them together, but this one is a particularly difficult book to find in any kind of grade. It was an extremely popular one because it's just all it was selling Thor. I mean, that's all this was, but it's this sort of a transitioning blue cover, and the spine always on these things were. I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to buy any more monsters. I've pretty much, honestly, Brandon, I pretty much scratched that itch. I won't, but I won't talk about them as much until you get as many as you need. But Thor was always my favorite, and to begin with, because mythology was very big when we were little kids. I was a little kid. All the mythology stuff and dinosaurs; those were the two big ones. Solar system stuff too, especially because we have the space program. It started with the Mercuries and all of that when Sputnik happened. And they were still talking about Sputnik when I was a little kid, and I kept going, "What's Sputnik?" And all the thing did was orbit the Earth going beep, beep, beep. It didn't do anything. But it was the Russians.
That was something. No one else had went around and beeped before that.
Yeah, the Russians were up there first. So then it was the space race and Jack Kennedy, President Kennedy, and I will put a man on the moon. But it was an interesting time, and I remember being in my grandparents' living room watching Neil Armstrong step off onto the moon, and my grandfather, who was born in 1894,
wow.
he says that I have lived long enough. No one was talking. We're just watching this, just incredulous that we're watching a man walk on the moon live on television. I mean, it was incredible. And he said that I lived long enough to be amazed by the Wright brothers flying, to be with you here watching a man walk on the moon. He said, I can't, it's very amazing in my lifetime how much technology had changed, that the science and the ability to put a man on the moon was really quite, and bring him back was really quite something. So
yeah.
Have you said and bring them back, and this is going to be a bit of a sidetrack, but have you seen or read the speech that was prepared for if they weren't brought back?
Who has a little one?
It's got to be Doug.
That's me. I'll mute myself. I'm sorry.
Well,
No,
that's
you're
fine.
fine.
That's
You're fine.
fine. That's life. I like that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. The only thing I saw was Eisenhower's mea culpa if D-Day failed. I saw the speech. I take full responsibility for this tragedy, and I did the best I could, and I'm very sorry, and everything else. I didn't see the one where they fail if they had failed on for the moon. What does it say?
I will have to send that to you. Moon. Keep talking amongst yourselves. I'll try and find it because there are a couple lines that I don't want to get wrong.
Okay. I went into I have been buying from these various television auctions, and there's action auctions, and there's Strictly Affordable, and there's Madhouse, and various incarnations, Mr. Sands, the Cookie Man, and various people, very nice, all of them very nice, and then dealers are basically just guys that are collectors that are selling, and some more than others. But it's sort of like if there's a book that you want and it's in a group of books, and then you're bidding against people, and like they'll say, here are 10 books. We'll start at $1, and then you set the market for that group of 10 books, like $1 or $2, depending on what you got. And then you get first pick at that price for all 10 of those books, or you can take all 10 of them if you want. And then sometimes they'll have like 4 or 5 books, and they'll say, okay, for this lot, this is what it is. Here is Heavy Hitters, The Trouble with Girls. This wasn't one that I was seeking, but ended up coming, and it's embossed. It's a lovely embossed cover.
Wow.
I didn't expect it to be embossed. It didn't look like it was the right age for that.
No, but
that's neat.
It's embossed. One of the characters that people have liked to do, and then she got all torqued and bent out of shape, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
What?
And she got all bent out of shape because her image was used to be Wonder Woman. There's a very infamous cover with sort of like a photo cover of that they've grafted her physiognomy into a Wonder Woman suit, and she got all bent out of shape about that one too. So here they're trying to give her props and what have you, and she's crapping all over them. There's the elephant, the red elephant, and the blue donkey. So there she is.
Well, she's not really a fan of either of them, so
No, which is why it's such a pleasure to have. And then here is a very lovely rogue.
Wow.
And then the rogue has gone to the savage land, as you know. She's in the savage land and scantily clad, which is what always happens in savage lands. And so here she is being savage. I like that her little yellow top has the X marks the spot.
I like that, similar to Hulk's pants, even when clothing is destroyed, it's never further than PG-13.
And one stocking, just in case.
Just in case. I like it. It's like a painted manga.
It is. This cover is really, really a beautiful, beautiful image of Rogue.
That is cool.
So are these variants from that new ongoing or miniseries she's got?
I think so, and that's one of the things that they will do. For example, on action auctions with Beta Ray Jim, he'll have a pull box that are $12, and all of them are Virgin variants. And so, for $12, a lot of times they're 15 or 20 wherever you go. And then he has them for this. And it isn't like a lot of these guys when they have a pull box where they'll just reach over there and close an eye and they'll pull something out, and that's what you get. If you don't like it, he says at $12, I'll keep pulling books until you find the ones you want. And then if anybody has any interest on what the guy that's buying passes on, then you can buy that too. And so I've picked up, God, a scad of all of these kinds. It's to the point now where I really have enough of this stuff that it's sort of like dupes. The only ones that I will dupe up a little bit on are the Virgin variant, and I have been, but I think I've already got that. The Virgin variants of the Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and not as much Absolute Superman, but that Virgin variant of the Wonder Woman where it's the with a big sword in her hand as she's standing there, which I think is just a really, really beautiful cover. I don't know who this one is. I don't know her name, but I like what she's putting on. Does anybody know who she is?
No. Who published this?
Zenoscope.
I know who that is. That's that damn White Tiger book I bought like a couple weeks ago. So I don't know who that character is, but she's a character from that universe. So I'm aware of her.
This is the newest.
Good Lord.
This is the newest one of these Virgin variants. This is a Nathan Zerdy cover, and this one is relatively new. And this is. I love Zerdy. I really do. I have a Wilma. I have Wilma and Betty up here. That's a Zerdy.
Yeah.
And I also have this Le Chat Noir, which has been homaged. J. Scott Campbell's one is very, very good of this one with the black cap, but that's Zerdy's version of it. And I do really like his style. It's very well crafted. So then here's a shot to the into the past. One of my favorite artists for Good Girl is Michael Linsner, Joseph Linsner, and here is Sirius #1, which is the first issue of Dawn, which is his creation. And he's done commissions for me since 2014, and but he is so busy now with Dynamite and all of that for all the multiple covers that they do, that he says the commission work that he would do is always after the bread and butter, which makes perfect sense if you're trying to support yourself. So the lead time for him to do something got longer and longer and longer, and it became more and more expensive, understandably, but he's still incredibly reasonable in relationship to guys like Bruce Timm, and I guess Clayton Crane now is very expensive and what have you. So now I'll show a few more, but I didn't want to shoot my bolt completely because I figure you guys are going to want to show some stuff too. Here's some poison. Here's a DNA Poison Ivy, David Nakayama. a very, very nice man, and I like a lot of this stuff. I have a big chunk of David Nakayama. I have a big chunk of J. Scott Campbell. I have a big chunk of Zerdy, and then multiple various ones of Perillo and Lobos and any number of these different guys. In Hyuk Lee. Things like that. I'll show one more, and then I will cede the floor. Maybe Mr. Nate got something that would be worthwhile showing, I think. And here's one of the many Vampirellas till hell won't have them anymore. But I do like Vampirella. I really do like the character, and of course Alan, and as with all the Warren collection that he has and is put together. It's interesting that Warren, for all of its, for how long ago it was, the Warrens just don't seem to generate a great deal of money, other than the first few, and then there may be one or two that are of a low distribution, but they basically kept everything, got everything back that they didn't sell, and they were selling those things out in their magazines for the longest time. Where's Alan? I think he's sleeping.
So, okay, was it Warren and then Harris for Vampirella?
It was Warren and then Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I know the early ones, just talking to Ricky, that she wasn't, it wasn't even about her. She was like an Elvira type host. So maybe that's why, it's not as much for people who collect her, because they might want stories that are about her.
Well, the Frazetta covers, let's not kid around, are the ones that really are the ones
Yeah.
that go. And there are some foreign ones, like the Spanish ones, have these Spanish artists, and they're pretty wild. What they did, they took license with their license, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If I may interject, we've only got about 30 minutes left, because I want to leave space between us and church, so people can do what they need to do before that starts. And I want Doug to be able to go, because Stephen, you, me, and Nate, we talk all the time, but I want Doug to have his moment to shine. But if I may interject briefly, that memo, Stephen, that I was talking about earlier is called the Sapphire Memo.
Okay.
I sent it to you. It's not very long. I'd like to take just a second to read it, because I love history and stuff like that. So if you guys will indulge me for just a moment.
The learning moment.
There we go.
You can have 2 moments.
So this was to Haldeman from Bill Sapphire, and it's dated July 18th, 1969. In the event of moon disaster. And the speech reads as this: Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. These brave men, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Alden, know that there is no hope for their recovery, but they also know that there is hope for mankind in their sacrifice. These 2 men are laying down their lives in mankind's most noble goal, the search for truth and understanding. They will be mourned by their families and friends. They will be mourned by their nation. They will be mourned by the people of the world. They will be mourned by a Mother Earth that dared to send 2 of her sons into the unknown. In their exploration, they stirred the people of the world to feel as one. In their sacrifice, they bind more tightly the brotherhood of man. In ancient days, men looked at the stars and saw their heroes in the constellations. In modern times, we do much the same, but our heroes are epic men of flesh and blood. Others will follow and surely find their way home. Man's search will not be denied, but these men were the first, and they will remain the foremost in our hearts. For every human being who looks up at the moon in the nights to come will know that there is some corner of another world that is forever mankind. It's just...
That's beautifully done. Bill Sapphire wrote that? Or Haldeman wrote it?
It was to Haldeman. It was written by Bill Sapphire. It's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah.
I think that is about as lovely a piece as I've heard. I've never heard it before.
I sent you the actual scan of the memo note itself, typed out, so you can read it for yourself. But it's beautiful, and I like.
Well, you read it. You read it very nicely, and you laid it out perfectly. That's very interesting.
But yeah, not to put too much of a downer on things.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What you got?
Hey, Doug.
Hi. So working backwards, since Warren was mentioned, I thought I'd show this guy. So I picked this up from Tyler at Pockets Full of Comics. It's The Spirit #2, Warren Publishing, and he did like a magazine show on Whatnot. It was one of his first shows, and man, I was surprised at how cheap I got that. Couldn't get #1. Somebody outbid me, but Warren really did a lot of like bright colors. Let's say Vampirella, but a lot of like bright color printing. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is. This might be my favorite Spirit cover, honestly.
I love Will Eisner.
Really bright covers. Let me see if I can get the glare off of there. Really bright covers. I mean, Will Eisner, how can you lose? But something else that I picked up last week at my LCS, I recently found out that James O'Barr, the creator of The Crow, lives in Dallas, and I live in Fort Worth. So I didn't know that. So he makes local appearances at cons. but he doesn't travel a lot. But someone had stumbled in with this in a collection, and I figured I'd pick that up as the Crow #1. Now it's not the #1 from
It's McFarlane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the McFarlane cover.
Cool.
Boy, that's terrible. But if you see here in the corner here, James O'Barr signed it, and they had this just sitting here with some low dollar price on it, and I said I can't not take that. And because it's not slab, thank God, I can get it signed by McFarlane someday too. So I'm gonna
Cool.
That's on my list. And then this one's probably my favorite pickup of the week, to be honest with you. But this is Justice League of America #64, which is the first Silver Age appearance of the Red Tornado.
Awesome.
Very cool.
And this, shouting out awesome sellers. I got on, I don't know how many folks, I'm sure most of us at least have explored Whatnot, but Robot Monster Island on Whatnot. Huge seller, very popular. A lot of people know who he is, but I got that for $26.
Nice.
So I could not be happier with that. I'm scared to read it. Top staple is detached, but it doesn't matter. I'll probably read it once and then never touch it again.
Doug, what's your forte? What is your forte? Are you silver modern or everything involved?
I like everything from 1800s, late 1800s pulp magazines to modern, all of it. So if I can find it at a good price and it piques my interest, or it's at least readable, then I'll probably pick it up. I mean, I've got a handful of pulps. I've got let's see. Let me see if I can pull one here real quick. Here we go. I've got I think I've shown some of these on Mon's Halloween show when I was there, but Famous Fantastic Mysteries.
Wow.
Got a couple of startling stories in pulp form. So yeah, I mean, I dabble, Steve, to be honest with you. There's a lot. I mean, modern bronze and silver are probably what I'd go towards first, primarily. But like I said,
did you grow up
or I'll pick it up.
When you were like 11 or 12? What year was that?
That would have been early 90s. So 90.
Okay. Do you have an affinity for the 90s material?
It's funny. Hagen and I were kind of chatting about that last night and how much straight garbage just came out of the 90s. But do I have an affinity for it? Yeah, I mean, it's my childhood. Jim Lee was doing X-Men. You had the foil cover goodness, which has kind of spoiled the market now. But yeah, I have a little bit of an affinity for 90s, probably more 80s than 90s. But yeah.
I see that you have the USS Oregon across your chest, and I see the flag up on top. You served?
I'm a Navy vet, yeah. So I was a diesel engine mechanic on minesweeper ships.
Excellent. Thank you for your service. My father was Navy as well. And Hagen, your dad was Marine or Army?
Army, Big Red 1.
Fair enough. Dad didn't. Dad was too young for War II, and worked in the Swan Island shipyards for Kaiser Manufacturing for the Liberty ships, and put in the electrical wiring harnesses. And Mother was in the Red Cross. Both of them were just a hair too young. And then Dad was prime for Korea, but they did not call him, and he was on a Sumner class destroyer, the Willard Keith. I think it's DD 774, and he went through the Panama Canal and what have you. And the Willard Keith was quite a famous. The Fletcher class of destroyers was by far the best of the destroyers we had. And they lasted the longest too. They're just a great design. All the turrets on the center line and all that stuff. When did you? When were you serving, Doug?
2011 to 2016. I did 5 years active duty, and half of that I was deployed in Bahrain. Also on Minesweepers.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Cool.
Yep. I have to go back and defend some 90s garbage. So so Doug, yes, a lot of crap came out in the 90s, but there was stuff that was interesting and cool as well. And so these were a couple pickups I made that I thought were pretty good. So it's hard to find later issues of the Max. Sam Keith is an
Low
artist
print
that I
run.
like a lot. This is, written and drawn by him. So it ran 35 issues. My LCS got a huge run of them. And of course, like the later ones were all bought up, but this was the latest one I could find. And then at a half price books, I got the second to last issue. So I got number 34. I do have dreams of putting this together one day. I have bought and sold like the first 6 issues 3 or 4 times because I keep finding it. And then I'll sell it because I'm like, I don't need multiple sets of this. But the Max was a really interesting image book that launched the exact same time as Spawn and Youngblood. If I remember correctly, Mr. Liefeld's Youngblood. I'm
The
just going to
Titans of the
highlight
90s.
I'm going to highlight real quick that Eric, the from SideQuest Comics, he sent me an entire collection of the Amethyst Maxi series, which I finished reading and loved it. And he sent me a mini series and some other books as well. And then my good friend, Mr. Steven here, I'm not going to show all of these because I am going to show them in a video later this week, but this arrived yesterday. So this is her ongoing series. And they are in beautiful condition. I'm not sure how many issues are there in that, Stephen, do you know?
I think there's 17. That's you
Okay.
have the full. You have the complete set.
Yes, I know you. You are so generous, and these are amazing. The colors on them are unreal. So this is issue 8, looking very. I mean, it looks very. What am I trying to think here? Aquaman, very underwater, but it's not. This is in the gym world.
It's the gem world, please.
It's the gym world. This one, which would be her going, through a portal from Earth into the gym world, and then
Like you do.
this one here is just, come on, that is a solid black cover without a
That looks
single
good
crease
for a
or
black
tick
cover.
or anything. Like, it's just gorgeous. It is just, I cannot believe the condition of these. And then that, Stephen, you also sprung for Mylars. Thank you so much.
Well, in fairness, I have to say that the bags those were in were starting their decomposition. Where they
Yep.
had that kind of
Oh,
sandy.
yeah.
They had that sandy feel, and they turn into like murky 2000s. There's sort of this greenish yellow tint, and the tape that was used on the back had been there so long that it had started to gum up.
Yep.
I mean, those books went into those bags and sat. I don't think anybody ever read them. They're from new old stock, from a comic store. Robin Roberts has the comic store where those came out of, and I bought that on one of the. I think it was on Madhouse. I got those, but go ahead.
Well, I really appreciate it. I mean,
You're
I
very
really
welcome.
Appreciate it. I can't wait to read them, and it's extremely nice of you. I'm going to show 2 more books that I read last week that I really like. So Matt, if he's still here from Matt Likes Comics, I dropped all of these EC like revival books that Oni Press is putting out. They just weren't good. And Matt said that this one was good. And so this is Cruel Kingdom. This is like kind of like weird fantasy or weird science. So it's like, swords and sorcery and sci-fi mixed up. And he was right. Like I got this number 1. I read it. It actually was one of the better ones. So the art, I don't know. This cover is so Wally Wood, and that's why I grabbed this one. This is not the A cover, but I thought they did a really good job with the, kind of the EC motif. And then, Hagen has said before, like, everything doesn't have to be a steak dinner. Sometimes you just want to, you want to eat a bag of Skittles. So this was my bag of Skittles. This is the 4th issue of an Ewoks miniseries. Every one they did has a action figure, variant, and I can't pass them up because I'm an idiot and a child. And this actually it's only 4 issues. It was pretty fun to read. Like there is a group of Imperials who are on the forest moon of Endor. This is after Return of the Jedi, and the Empire guys are kind of idiots, and the Ewoks are tricking them. And then there is a Ewok superhero called the Red Ghost. And if all that didn't sell you, I mean, I guess I'm not going to. It was a ton of fun. I don't read any Star Wars books, but I'm going to show you this page here. So this is, remember that terrible guy in the remake of Return of the Jedi that shows up and sings instead of Size Snoodles or whatever? There's like a whole army of these guys. Yeah, I said it. They're real names, Hagen. They're real names. They're real to me.
Do you know the name of the style of music?
Yes, it is. They are jizzmongers.
Mm-hmm.
Jizzmongers. Max Rebo and
Good Lord.
That's the glorious world building of George Lucas for you.
What a delight.
That is
What an
canon.
absolute delight.
That is printed in a book.
And somebody had to do that.
Wait,
With
I
a
said
straight
jizzmong.
face.
No, they're jizz whalers. It's jizz whaling. That's what it is. That's their
I
type.
just
Oh,
knew
no,
that the
that's
style
better.
of music was called jizz. I didn't know that they were called jizz whalers.
Yes.
Well, it's classy no matter how you slice that one.
If you guys would mind entertaining me for just a moment here, like towards the end of the show, I did go to a sale at my comic book store, and I didn't get a lot of like books or old books. I had my pull list, which has been neglected for about 4 or 5 months. So I got all of the books that I haven't gotten, and also my wife's Something is Killing the Children, and like House of Cutter, House of Slaughter, like all of those tie-ins. She's in love with that. She introduced me to Something is Killing the Children.
I'm enjoying it so far.
Oh God, it's so good. I think I've read up to issue like 28 or something like that. It's fantastic, like genuinely fantastic.
Who is killing the children?
Monsters.
Oh God, what are the monsters called?
I've only read the first issue, so do not quiz me on Something is Killing the Children.
I've read the first 3 trades, but it's been a while.
I've read the first 7 trades, but I forget what the actual monsters are called. But
and the gal and the mother is killing the monsters, right? That's the drill.
Not a mother, but she's a fighter, a warrior. I'm reticent to talk more about it because I want Doug to be able to experience it like fresh. But so we picked that up. Comic supplies were 25% off, so I got 2 short boxes that I can shove in the bottom of my cabinet, and I also got 200 bags and boards because bags and boards are too damn expensive to buy for full price. But I did get some comics. So like I said, my pull list, which mostly consists of Nice House by the Sea, Transformers with an Ultra Magnus cover. I love Ultra Magnus so much. And the one like neglected issue of Captain America that I haven't picked up yet. But I did get 5 back issues. One of them is not for me, and I'll show that one last. But Stephen, the first one you introduced me to, and it's this.
Oh, yes.
This is Catwoman number 55, just with a lovely like neon cover, and you can see it through the glass. This had a sticker price of $5.99. I got it for $3.
There you go.
And then the final issue of Avengers JLA.
That's cool.
That is such a great cover.
The Superman with Mjolnir and Cap shield, just like nerdgasm right here. This was a sticker price,
and you're never getting that again. They're never gonna do that again.
It's not happening. This was a sticker price of 10. Got it for 5. And then I love comics with planes on the cover, and I like painted covers. So when I saw a War Stories Combat with a B-17 on the front of it, I knew that I had to have it.
That's an earlier one because it doesn't have the chin turret. They had to put those in the G, F, and G series because the Germans would come head on because there was very little to stop them, and they'd shoot right through the ship completely all the way to the back and wipe everybody out. So they put the chin turd in, and that solved the problem on that pretty much.
Stephen, when we get off, remind me to send you. There's a short poem. It's called "The Death of the Ball Turret Gunner." I don't know if you've read it before, but it's about this guy in here. It's too macabre to read out loud, but it's a gorgeous poem that I learned about in AP English, and I think you would enjoy it.
They had to be very small to fit in those things, and it was a lot of times it was death because they're completely hanging out, and and also they were trapped inside when they would lock those things down in. It was the poor guys that had to be in the ball turret was really tough. That's for sure. Yeah. I actually rode on a B-17G that came in called Sentimental Journey, and we took a ride. I got to fly in one, and I got to sit up in the flight engineer's seat. I was the first guy on the ship, and I was able to ride. And of course, it was really great to fly in a B-17. It was smooth as silk. It was really very powerful with all those 4 engines going.
Very cool.
It's tiny inside. They show 12 o'clock high, and they show these guys wandering around in the fuselage, have a cup of coffee and all this stuff, talking with the navigator. Forget it. You can't do any of that stuff in those things. You have to be tiny to fit in there. And my wife's father was in a B-24, and his crew made it all the way through. I mean, he was a waist gunner and radio operator, and their name of their ship was Lonesome. They went over Ploesti to one of the raids to blow up the oil fields there. But every one of their guys made it all the way through, just like the Memphis Belle. It's a miracle. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Like I said, I love learning about history. This was $10 sticker, $5 sale price.
Can't beat that.
So great. And now here are the exciting ones that I got. The most exciting. Those were in like their back stock lot, and then they have their con stock. The con stock was about 10% off. That was 50%. But this is Swamp Thing number 9.
I have that one.
I have that book. Excuse me, wrong inflection. I have that. Okay, go ahead.
But just an awesome Swamp Thing cover. Sticker price of $30. I got it for $27, and it's
nice.
Like it's
That's
not perfect
nice
condition for sure.
No, but it's very presentable. That's nice.
Yeah, you guys know me. I don't care about condition. It looks fantastic.
Well, it's nice if it's nice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it being nice to have in hand. You don't have to buy rags if you don't want to. It's always nice if they look a little bit nicer than that.
Well, mine beat
this is
crap,
fantastic,
and I do not care. Like, I just love that cover.
And the second to last one, but like the one that I was most excited to see is this.
Wow.
This is Amazing Spider-Man number 66, which
Great.
I got for $18. Probably, Doug, you and I were talking about this the other night, probably my favorite ASM cover. It's between this and I think 45, the Lizard cover, the Doc Ock cover, ASM 50, like those in that region. But
yeah,
I just love this so much.
Is that Ramita?
Yes, it is Ramita.
Okay.
Right down there.
I could literally tell by Mysterio's hand.
So cool. And then the last thing that I got, this was actually the first thing that I picked up. And Nate, this is for you. You know what this is.
I do. I'm so excited. Speaking of 90s garbage, I could not be more excited for Cat Wolf.
Tying it all back, I'm going to I'm going to press this into your flesh at Heroes Con.
Well, actually, I mean, we're going to see each other 2 times before Heroes Con, to be honest.
That's right. We'll be seeing each other, I think, in March and May, and then Heroes Con in June. So sometime before then.
What's in March and May?
March, we are hanging out with Dope Comics, and May, I'm going to be spooning Nate after the Indianapolis 500.
He's coming here because he's going to the Indy 500. So I offered my son's bedroom. I was like, I'll kick him right out. You come stay here.
And the last thing that I'll show, I just opened this up because I thought this is what this was going to be. But Mr. Aiken sent me another package, and it's the missing issue of Namor. From
wow,
it's number 11. Because he sent me 1 through 10, and then Matt sent me like 12 through whatever.
What? That's a heck of a cover, man. To be the one that was missing.
Yeah, it for sure is. There's activity happening here.
Nazi boots on his neck.
Mm-hmm.
That'll learn him.
Yeah. So it was a good week of comics for me, and I hope it was for you guys too.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't get to read everything because my shop didn't get books the previous week. So when I bought books last week on Wednesday, I had 2 weeks worth of books. So I'm still kind of behind because, like, I don't know about you guys, but like when I get my stack of new books, I prioritize them. Like the one I want to read first.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I'm saving for last, and I kind of, and even depending on when I'm reading, I might change that hierarchy as I go too, depending on my mood. So it's what a weird hobby, right? Like you're trying to
but if you've got a bunch, if they're all favorites, I found when I stopped collecting is I had them on my nightstand, and I did exactly what you did. I prioritized what I was going to read. Manhunter and Omega were down at the bottom, and then Batman and Captain America were up at the top. And then what I found was I would only get so far down through the strata before the next week would come. And I would have maybe 4 or 5 months worth of the same title that I hadn't read, Bloodhaven. I mean, I had all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I was buying them to buy them. I wasn't buying them to read them because I wasn't enjoying. I didn't want to read the story that was in them. And at that point, I said, I'm done because there's no point in buying it if you're not enjoying it. And that's when I decided that I would focus more on stop buying modern and buy older books, and then just continue to buy older books, because even though I've been at this for so long, there are so many books that I've never seen and haven't had a chance to read or even be with. One real quick thing, I posted Marvel Mystery number 56, which is the Nicolas Cage collection copy of that book.
Oh, cool.
And it's a phenomenal book. It's a great cover. And Schomburg. So I posted the book 2 days ago with because you can have 20 pictures now on Instagram. I was able to put in 2 stories. I chose the Submariner story, which had a Nazi storyline. And then instead of the Human Torch, I went with Miss America because I thought they were both well-drawn and cool stories. You can see Human Torch a lot. He's on the cover. But Instagram basically pulled the plug on my post, and they said the whole thing was counterfeit. And so I appealed it, and it's currently under appeal. And I said, fair enough, I'll just post the cover and not do the story and just go with that. And I posted it, and they instantly pulled it, saying it was counterfeit again. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm. Some of my friends have been. I have a guy that restored I think a 57 Impala, a die cast, and they pulled his. They said that he had to. That they had to pull a die cast recording, which is about as benign as you can. Something is going on with the algorithm where the sensors are really going crazy for some reason. I have what the bots are having problems or something. It's a pain in the butt. So I posted a die cast.
I didn't even know that they screened for counterfeit stuff. Like I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, how can they say how can they say that the thing is counterfeit? I actually have it. They were saying that the interior pages were counterfeit. They didn't show the cover as counterfeit. Then they said the cover was counterfeit, and I have the certificate of authenticity to the Nicolas Cage collection, and it's slabbed by CGC where it says Nicolas Cage collection, and they still said it was counterfeit. So I gave up on that for a while, and I will just post, you know, the Mod Squad and the Banana Splits, and that way there won't be a problem.
Oh my God, it's actual Dracula.
Actual
The real one.
Dracula.
Good morning.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything that you guys got going on here coming up, or are we all boring?
Well, Tuesday, Hagen, you're joining me for a live stream in the evening, 8 p.m. with Big Nasty. Big Nasty Comics is joining us, and probably a few other friends. And then I will have a video out next week at some point, just a regular haul video. But I want to show off these amethyst covers that I got, and I got a couple other things that I was going to put in a video as well. Other than that, no, just living life. And then I'm sure Friday as well, we'll all be back together for whatever Big Lyle brings this week.
He stepped on his headline, and then he was going on as I says, no, stop, Canoe Head. You
gotta let Canoe Head
stop.
sink in.
Take the win. And he
so
brings
good.
it back out, and and all this. And I said, just revel in that. You've got all of us going. Everybody's buying it instantaneously. Get me one. It was so good. It truly was, SideQuest. It was a total FOMO. And then Alan says, oh, I bought it already. I should have bought 2.
I bought 2, and I'm shipping 1 to Portland.
Hot damn.
Doug,
I'm going to be on. I'm sorry. Did you ask Doug?
I did, but you jumped
go ahead,
right
Doug.
in.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, I've had about a 2.5 month hiatus due to moving into a new house and everything. So I will be having video number 3 come out. I don't know what day this week, but I'm going to drop it this week.
Cool.
Very cool.
Look forward to that.
K Munin, you're a marplot. You're a scoffer. First the ferret, now this. It's just too much. It's too much. And you like zombie tramps, so I can see you have your standards are correct. But I mean, it's something.
Matt does have it coming, so we'll be able to one day everyone hold up their copy of Canoe Head.
Oh man, it's something to live for. I have church.
I wasn't sure I was going to continue on, but now I have to.
I have church coming up on Tuesday, and then Monday I have my show with Alan for our Monday hangout or our Monday special. I've got a few very, very interesting books that have come my way, and they're surprises for Alan, so he doesn't know what I have. He says, "What is it?" And I said, and then it always is, "What is it? What did it cost?" And I go, I'm not going to tell you, and none of your business. But I said, well, a few bucks. But then on Tuesday, Mr. Matt Likes Comics, has a Q&A just like he did with you guys, where Alan and I are going to square off. And so
cool.
When we were arguing about something, Alan is so irascible. I try to be so placid and docile.
You're very mild-mannered.
I'm mild-minded.
Nothing ruffles your feathers.
Oh,
unflappable. That's what I've heard said.
I am very flappable, and so we're going to do that on Tuesday, and then of course we'll have our clam bake on Friday, where Big Lyle will amaze us yet once again. So that's the plan of attack.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, everybody be sure to go check out Church with Bleecker. And I think Cliff Comics has the full Sunday lineup on his Instagram. So be sure to stay plugged in with the community today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to everyone here. Follow Steven on Instagram. And absolutely annihilate the like button.
Thanos, snap it.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. We will see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you next Sunday morning, if not before.